It's been a while since I've done an update to the Albrecht's Aether Ray wizard on camera. I think since the level 35 video. So here's a level 40 video, just showing off where the build is right now and how far I've gotten it. Albrecht's Aether Ray is, you know, the Death Ray ability. I'm sure everyone who's played the Arcanus and gotten points this far knows about it. The main beam is half fire, half aether damage. You have the transmuter that turns its aether damage into chaos damage, and then the modifier at the end, disintegration, adds weapon damage, vitality damage, and more fire and aether damage. I am using primarily building around the aether side of things, and I have 488 to 536 aether damage stacked with 240% aether damage. So I deal a lot of aether damage. And the beam itself is really powerful. Now you may note that in the 35 video, I think I had that maxed out, but I had to respec a few points in here because the main change to the build is I'm now using Kalidor's Tempest as well. Kalidor's Tempest is weapon damage, fire damage, and aether damage, and it synergizes exactly with Albrecht's Aether Ray. I have 2 points in Inferno, and I'm not using the transmuter because I want to actually be able to spam this. And I've got my casting speed pretty high up there to spam it pretty fast. Combined with the stupid high regen this build provides, you can pretty much cast both of the spells more or less indefinitely. And I could sit here for a few seconds just with that going, and you know, things refill fast. In fact, they refill so fast I have 115 energy potions just sitting in my inventory unused, as it's a super rarity to need to actually use an energy potion. So aside from the 2 main attack spells, I mostly kept this a DPS focused build. I only put extra points into Myvin Sphere Protection to make it work better, and I partially wanted more points in that because of the chance to avoid projectiles, more than the actual damage absorption. And it's actually a good idea to have, with this build, have a secondary ability, defensive ability, aside from just the Mirror Varactes, and, or I mean a third ability, aside from the Mirror Varactes and Electra's Flash Freeze. And in this build, the Flash Freeze, I don't have it leveled up like I do in my cold build, but I put a point in it just to use it as an escape. And if there's one weakness of this build, it is how squishy it is. So I did keep it fairly DPS intensive. At least it's DPS intensive to me. The other points I put into Inner Focus. I put a lot of points into Mental Alacrity, given that I love Mental Alacrity. And it's great for both the beam and for spamming Kalidor's Tempest. And Fabric of Reality for just raw percentage of aether damage. I don't really care about the energy leech so much. It's only okay. I haven't really seen it work fantastically. And I put a point in Arcane Will because obviously with this build, with how squishy you are, half your health disappears pretty regularly. Going forward, point-wise, with this, I would probably work on defenses, though I would also consider putting points back into Devastation because it meshes also with Fire and Aether, and maybe like 1 point wondering all of these to have the super mode ability, and then maybe 1 point wondering all of these. Since the last time I have dropped Panetti's Replicating Missile entirely because I was just never using it. And I don't think I'm gonna multi-class this at all. I think even if like the level cap ends up at 99, but even if the level cap ends up at 99 or wherever it ends up, I think I'm just gonna keep it just straight Arcanist. But the option would mainly be for Occultist to switch the beam to Chaos and then get Soleil's Witchfire, and then like the vulnerability and a couple other defensive abilities from that. Or, I mean, really, you could take this and go to any other class if you wanted to. The Nightblade with its self-heal ability and ability to jump around is actually quite nice. Demolitionist is probably the weakest with this, but you can get more fire damage if you decide to focus on the fire side of things, and Soldier for defense. And I should note, you can build around the fire side of this ability, and it'll still be very powerful and effective. I just went with the Aether side of things because it seems more... Flavor-wise, it seems more like what an Arcanist... Like an Arcanist that's focusing raw energies of the universe into a build would be. And that's why I focused on the Aether side. Also, I have this wand, which is the Blackwood wand. It's Aether damage with Aether damage, and then Spirit, plus 1 Occultist, plus 1 Arcana skills. And that's one of the reasons I'd consider going Occultist, is just the free plus 1 all Occultist skills. And then I put a Wrathstone in, which is the Aether damage weapon component, which gives Aether Aura, which is handy for more just Aether damage. And yeah, his 643 isn't terrible DPS. I mean, he could go higher, but I need like pretty much perfect gear at this point, I think. His chest piece is a crafted robe, and the chest piece, I'm gonna note this: if your damage with this might seem a little low number-wise. I mean, I don't really think it is for me, but the thing about this build is energy regen is a DPS stat for you. So 78.63 regen is quite a bit. I've gotten it up to 90 before I had to switch a few pieces out, but I'd say you need at least 60 energy regen to get this really going super smoothly. Because the beam is a very, very energy intensive ability. Kalidor's Tempest is as well, but the beam is very, very energy intensive. So the Ornate Robe of Incantations, I just wanted a chest piece that had a lot of regen on it. So we got the 5.6 energy regen per second and a 10% increase. And it has Spirit. So that's pretty much exactly what I want for my robe. Really, I should go for something that does have Aether damage, but at this point, I'm actually quite happy with that. And I put a ballistic plating in for a chance to avoid projectiles and a little armor, and the completion bonus was energy, which is always helpful. The pants are Aether damage pants. The poison is pretty irrelevant, and I put ancient armor plate in there. Boots are Aether damage boots, and it has poison damage. Actually, what is my poison damage? I don't even know. I have a little bit of poison plus poison percent. Oh, and I will note, I do want to get more fire, and I think Aether Fire, I think the like prefix and the suffix are gonna be like Aether Fire blank of Arcane Fury, which is the Aether Fire combinations. And I actually haven't seen those yet, so good luck on me getting that. Anyways, Mark of the Traveler is the component in there because I just don't have anything else for it. Inscribed Bracers are awesome. They're elemental damage, casting speed, and +2 to Kalidor's Tempest. I put an Unholy Inscription in there for more vitality damage, since the beam does carry it when you have Disintegration. You get a small bit of vitality damage, so it's not a terrible thing to throw in there. And I wanted it also because it had 11% Aether damage on it. Really, Restless Remains, or are they Spellwoven Threads, I think? The 2 casting speed things would go much more perfectly in there. But you know what? I actually like having the Unholy Inscription in there. It's a non-standard addition to things. The shoulders are Fire and Aether shoulders. They're just spell weaving though, so it's actually not a huge bit of damage. Really, those should also be better. There's, oh, what are they? They're like, I had them on my Cold Arcanist, and it's like Mantle of the Weeping Eye would probably be a great thing to put in here if I could get another one. And then Mutated Scales as a component is for the health and armor. 190 health doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a nice bit of health. Like, it's 300 health for me from my shoulders alone. I mean, there's a 3% health, but yeah, that 3% health, that 190 health is affected by that. So it's like, that's just extra health and extra survivability. My offhand is a Glyphed Archive of Annihilation, and that has vitality damage, Aether damage, Spirit offensive ability, energy regen, casting speed, cooldown reduction, reduces enemy health. It's all around a very solid offhand, though of course something a little more Aether Fire focused would probably be best. And then the Radiant Gem for its Radiant Shield defensive ability is my component. For jewelry, I have 3 straight up Aether damage pieces. And obviously I could perfect those a little bit, but I think they're fine for now. I have a Mark of Illusions in that ring. I want to get another Mark of Illusions for that ring. And I currently have Black Tallow in the amulet because I can't get the damn 3rd Aether Soul to drop, or the Aether Soul plan to drop, which would make life a lot easier for me. And Aether Soul is raw Aether damage and energy regen, and that just seems like it'd be the perfect amulet piece. But for now, Black Tallow works because it's a great chunk of energy regen. For the helmet, it's an Aether hat. I really hate the way this hat looks, and I really wish I had another headpiece. Specifically, the Nether Crown, I believe it's called, would be optimal here. But this does everything I wanted to do anyways. It just looks terrible. At least in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the pilgrim hats. At least for this guy. For an occultist, I'd go all over I'd go for the pilgrim hats. That just seems like a more occultisty thing. I'm using Equilibrium because I don't have Haunt, and Haunt would be perfect, obviously, for this. I may consider Calamity or Inferno, but for now I'll just use Equilibrium. It's just there. The belt is a chain belt of Albrecht's Focus, which is +1 to Albrecht's Aether Ray. I put a Bristly Fur in there for more health, more constitution, and a teeny tiny bit of vitality damage. I'll also point out that for these rings, like, if it were like, I guess it would be not Subjugators, but if it were something like, I don't even know if this can spawn, but Aether Fire Moonstone Band of Albrecht's Focus would be perfect. Albrecht's Focus on both rings would be great, just to get the beam stronger. And my badge is just a standard Ranger's badge, with Black Tallow in it for the regen. And I do really wish I had a better badge too, but that's going to require some crafting to do, and I'm more or less fine with it. I mean, I don't really know if there's any epic badge I could go for this, and it was spell-woven for that threads. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if there's like an epic badge that would go well with Aether Fire. I'm sure there could be. For the belt, I should note, I do want to get the, is it Physics Utility Belt? Would be awesome for the health regen, the energy regen, and the +1 all skills. That'd be great to get. But, I guess I can dream, huh? So we're gonna go into the field and fight some stuff real quick. Gutworm and his Supreme Spoils are always a good thing for me to test things against. I mean, I wiped the floor with him with my cold build, and hopefully I'll be able to do pretty good against him with this on camera. I normally do. So we pop our shield, pop our other shield, pop a potion, and he's done. I depth circlet, got that. But yeah, the beam makes quick work of enemies. Oh my word. Oh, give me that blueprint. Oh, finally. It happened on camera too. Oh, what I said, I needed it. Alright, I'm picking up from right after I got the Aether Soul drop. Again. So, since that happened on camera, I decided to go and farm up a little bit to get some money for some cracked lodestone, So since that happened on camera, I decided to go farm up some money to be able to afford to make a couple Aether Souls, complete Aether Souls. And they're really nice for this build. Because not only are they 5 Aether damage on both, which is 10 Aether damage, which is a lot more Aether damage when you run it through all the percentages. And they also both carry 25% energy regen, which is basically what Black Tallow was, which is energy regen and chaos resistance, but with the Aether damage, and that makes them awesome for this build. So let's go in the field and fight something. I'm going to go to Broken Hills to fight the Harpies, because they're a more or less easy thing, and hopefully we'll get one of the bird hero guys around here. So I'm going to let this first group swarm me. Well, I'll just jump in the middle. I normally don't like jumping in the middle. Oh, look, a hero. So we run back, hit her shield, and boom goes the dynamite. Get out of the dot. So normally I would advise against running into the middle of a group like that with this guy. Because you, like I showed, he took a ton of damage instantly. Oh, come on, Grim Dawn. And I would advise more of like, stay back and snipe guys until they horde you, because just reducing their numbers before they get around you is just smart tactics. I'm not going to go into the actual steps of Torment. So like we got these guys, so we're going to run away. Oh, hello. So I kind of have a reflex action to tap the Alexstra's flash freeze button whenever I get surrounded, because it's on the same button for every one of my Arcanists. I mean, I actually keep all 3 of my defensive abilities for Arcanists on these 3 buttons. Oh, I might have Myvan Shield different on someone, but yeah, it's kind of an instinct to hit that first and just stop everything from hurting you. But it's a good idea to snipe, and then if you get hoarded, to pop that and then explode. Because there's probably going to be a lot more boar. There they are. Boom, bang, 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 and they're gone. Took a little damage, but that's okay. You're going to take damage with this build regardless. And you're probably going to die just suddenly. So we snipe, 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 snipe. They didn't even get near me. And like I said, I'm not really going towards the steps. I don't really feel like doing that today and listening to the crossbow bolt sound. So do that, clear them out. Yeah, thought they're... All of that looks very clickable. Oh, there's more. All of this just looks very clickable to me. Like, that looks clickable to me. So there's probably going to be more boars. There are more boars, and we freeze them all and blow them all up. One guy's here, so we use the beam. And we move along. Now I don't have both. I don't have either of. Technically, I don't have the beam modifier or both of Kalidor's Tempest abilities. I don't actually have them maxed out, and I think it's still. Oh man! Ow! Really? Jeez. I'll bet if we go back to when we get back there, I'll bet I'll take him out very quickly. So wait, where's the quickest way to get over there? So you know what, we're gonna come at this from the north, I think, because I don't feel like running on that big loop with nothing to do. So I will also point out that funneling enemies to a choke point is your best friend. I mean, that bridge isn't a great choke point, but it's a choke point nonetheless. Doors are awesome with this build, because you can just fire your beam through them as the enemy just walks into your beam and dies. Oh hey. Cursed Oracles, you are on my list. Okay. So you can pretty much 1 to 2 shot. I should say 1 to 2 tick most things. Yeah, just sit there and growl. See? And we didn't get jack from him, but it's like had I seen him as a hero, properly pop some defenses, and then just beam him, I would have got him. So that was the Albrecht's Aether Ray Arcanist build. Even though I referred to it as a wizard initially, I do that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it somewhat informative enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.